Everyone made a big deal about Captain Marvel punching through a spaceship because, well, frankly, it was really awesome. But don't let it distract you from the fact that there's already an exceptionally powerful female hero in the MCU. Yes, I'm talking about the Scarlet Witch, who up until this point has been sadly underutilized in the MCU. But now that WandaVision is coming to Disney Plus, we can see our hero in her full glory. If you haven't kept up with the comic books, you might not be aware of how truly OP she really is. But don't worry, we got you covered. One of the big questions everyone had when WandaVision was first announced was, how is Vision still alive after we saw him lose his life twice in Avengers Infinity War? And of course, my next question was, am I seriously going to have to pay for another streaming service? Well, the answer to that one was definitely a resounding yes. But let's get back to that first one. Characters coming back to life is nothing new in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Loki's done it so many times that even Thor's managed to figure it out by now. In the comic books, it's even more common, and if anyone's going to be involved in resurrecting somebody, the Scarlet Witch is a good guess. Why? Because she's crazy powerful, and the fact that WandaVision exists means that even more of her strength is going to be incorporated into the MCU canon. Even if we're just talking about the existing version of Wanda we've seen so far on the big screen, she's still insanely powerful. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige has even stated that in a one-on-one battle, she's more than capable of taking down the Mad Titan Thanos. Of course, things are a little bit more complicated when he showed up with an actual army in Avengers Endgame, but still. Plus, when we saw her going all out in Age of Ultron, she managed to incapacitate the Avengers. Not just one member of the team, but every one of them, except for Hawkeye. I feel like that fact alone just doesn't get mentioned enough because it really shows just how OP Scarlet Witch is. But it's when you get into wacky multiverse shenanigans that her powers really begin to shine. There isn't a ton of information out there about what WandaVision will be about, but we do know some things. A big one is that it's going to have a strong tie into the upcoming movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to assume that that movie will have something to do with the multiverse. I know, I'm amazed by my ability to make predictions as well. So there are a couple of things which will help narrow down the answers to how does Vision come back. The first is that WandaVision could take place on an alternate timeline where he wasn't destroyed by Thanos. Maybe she's able to explore the multiverse thanks to Doctor Strange and discovers that she could just start over in a brand new timeline. But the other option is that this is something Wanda herself is doing. Could Wanda have altered the fabric of reality or created her own timeline? Or is all of WandaVision just happening inside her head? If you're familiar with her character in the comic books, you'll probably know that all of those are very real fictional possibilities here. If you think Wanda dreaming Vision back into reality is too crazy, well, you really need to catch up on your comics. Wanda and Vision fall in love, but face a challenge when it comes to reproducing, what with him not being an organic being and all. But Wanda's able to magic them up a couple of kids. No big deal, because again, she's just that powerful. Of course, the kids don't last, since they were formed with energy from the demon Mephisto, who ends up reabsorbing them, but still. She was able to create two beings, and that's still a truly impressive feat. There have been plenty of times in the source material when her powers were nerfed for some reason or another, but overall, she's known for her amazing strength. She's even altered time and space before, like when she changed Earth's history to make mutants rule over humans. See, every character has some kind of weakness. As fun as it is to see superpowered humans wailing on each other, someone has to emerge victorious. And as far as Wanda goes, her biggest weakness is more often than not her mental state. And when Wanda gets overwhelmed, she tends to do things like rewrite history and blink Clint Barton out of existence. In the trailer for WandaVision, there's a scene where a colorful Wanda is in a black and white room confronted with a black and white version of Vision. It looks like something straight out of an old sitcom, but it's clear the two characters are trying to stabilize themselves, and that something really strange is going on. This definitely appears to be more of Wanda messing with the fabric of reality. While this isn't always a good thing, it's definitely an awesome display of her powers. In the trailer, we also see a version of Wanda that looks like she's living in the 1970s. But don't get distracted by those groovy colors, because it also appears as though this version of the Scarlet Witch is pregnant. Will those crazy energy twins be incorporated into the MCU? It certainly seems that way, since there's also a shot with two cribs and two pacifiers. Now, remember when I said that Wanda made her own kids only to have them get reabsorbed into Mephisto later? Well, after that particular bit of craziness, the energy Wanda put into her offspring caused them to destroy Mephisto from within. Their souls ended up getting reincarnated into Tommy Shepard and Billy Kaplan, better known as the heroes Wiccan and Speed. So this is definitely one of the most convoluted bits of backstory out there, but the thought of it being included in the MCU is pretty awesome. Especially since I wouldn't mind seeing Wiccan, Speed, and the rest of the Young Avengers. And really, all of this craziness wouldn't be possible without Wanda's magic. We also see Wanda in a getup which looks just like the one we're used to seeing her wear in the comic books. She's got the classic cape and that distinctive wimple on her head. Of course, Marvel loves hiding in tons of Easter eggs for us to obsess over, but something tells me that this is a surefire sign that we're looking at a Wanda Maximoff that's a lot more like her comic book counterpart than we've seen so far. One of the many things I love about comics is how downright weird they are. We've seen characters deal with clones, zombies, and time travel, but the thing about Wanda is that she's a massive weirdness vector. And I mean that in a good way. She's able to create such wacky scenarios because she has the power to do so. Doctor Strange was pretty slick with the Time Stone, but Wanda doesn't have anything holding her back. When her mind is less than clear, she doesn't worry about little details like breaking the time-space continuum. Clearly, she doesn't have a Wong to follow her around and stare at her disapprovingly. In fact, even Doctor Strange has his limits when it comes to containing Wanda's wild chaos magic. In the comics, he's used the Eye of Agamotto to shut down her mind. And even his best efforts combined with those of Professor Xavier can't slow her down for too long. Not that Wanda using her powers is always a bad thing. She's a hero, not a villain after all. We've seen her use her powers to revive people before, such as when she brought Wonder Man back to life. But of course, the problem with this skill is that if it's used too much, then none of her losses mean anything, because Wanda could just zoop him right back to life. And if she does it once in the MCU, then everybody will be wondering why she doesn't do it more often. So making her ultra powerful in her own version of reality with Vision is a neat way of showing off what she's capable of without tearing the fabric of the MCU. Sure, it's a fictional universe, but there have to be some limits to what characters are capable of in order to keep it interesting. One interesting thing about Wanda's power is that it's different than what many of us think of when we picture strong characters. She's not going to beat the Incredible Hulk in an arm wrestling contest, and she isn't as skilled in hand-to-hand combat compared to someone like, say, Captain America. But her powers enable her to do things that other characters could only dream of. She can definitely do a lot more than simply move objects around with her mind, which we've seen her doing plenty of in the MCU. But playing with wooden blocks is one thing, and ripping apart Ultron's vibranium chest to grab his processor is an entirely different thing. She even flat out made his sentries disintegrate on a molecular level after the loss of her brother Quicksilver. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how incredible those feats really are? Lots of heroes can fly and shoot energy beams, but they've got nothing on the Scarlet Witch. In fact, it seems like one of the reasons we haven't seen her use more of her powers is because she's just too strong. Remember that incredible mental manipulation she pulled off during Age of Ultron? She was able to incapacitate the Avengers, take a peek at their memories, and render them helpless via horrific nightmares, specially tailored to play on their fears. That's some real Freddy Krueger level craziness, and I'm absolutely here for it. So why doesn't Wanda use this trick all the time? She was able to manipulate the citizens of Sokovia so they'd evacuate faster. And we've even seen her use her powers on Vision. Not only is he not a human being, but he's a Mind Stone-powered vibranium being capable of lifting Mjolnir. Yet during Civil War, we saw her force him to phase out and release Clint Barton. So why are we seeing Wanda at her peak power now? Well, it makes sense from a storytelling perspective that she'd have to go all out during high-stakes movies like Endgame. Plus, since the MCU was officially revealed to be a multiverse, there's always the possibility of Wanda doing things on a different timeline, instead of messing up the main MCU continuity. And as the final part in the equation, we of course have WandaVision. This show and others like Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier take place in the MCU, but the small screen format allows for more freedom. Even if Wanda doesn't return to the big screen, she could still exist in the MCU. Not that there wouldn't be plenty of angry fans or anything, I just said it could happen. Even though Wanda has been in the MCU for a long time, she's one of the least utilized characters. Perhaps in part because she's just so dang strong. But now that WandaVision is happening, she'll finally have a chance to show her full potential and all the inevitable craziness that goes along with it. What do you think about the Scarlet Witch we've seen so far in the MCU? Are you hoping for some major changes courtesy of WandaVision? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and then click on that subscribe button for more new videos from us here at CBR. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and bye for now.